Hello, credit union friends. Welcome to this episode of Three Questions. I'm Greg Michlig, President and CEO at CUInsight.com, and it's great to be joined by Anthony Hernandez, President and CEO of DCUC. Tony, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Greg. It's always a pleasure to be on CUInsight talking to the listeners out there and all the subscribers. So thanks for having me here today.
Absolutely. And we have three questions queued up for you. And I know our audience is eager to learn more about what DCUC has going on right now. So here we go. How is DCUC countering misleading narratives from the ABA survey and reinforcing the indispensable value credit unions provide to communities across America?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. That's a great question. We always highlight the credit unions service-based and not-for-profit based models, and how credit unions create measurable financial readiness and community impact, for their communities and in the lives of their members. But one thing we make sure we do is that we respond immediately. We're relentless in our replies as soon as they post something, and then our replies aren't just going on defense. We like to go on offense when we do it, and we talk about subchapter S. Some of the large banks that are consolidating a lot of the community banks as well, and put the onus on back on the banks where the focus needs to be. But there's a reason why we do it immediately. Is because you don't want if congressional staffers are going to go Google an issue, then you kind of want your credit union message to be in that Google search at the top. And if you miss the news cycle, trust me, there'll be other bankers weighing in on it, and then narratives get set. So it's not headline chasing; it's doing the basic blocking and tackling on behalf of the industry. And we're happy when other trade associations do the same thing, because then that's another news source from another credit union source. And so the more we can get people pushing articles through CUInsight or any other trade association, then we all win that way.
We're happy to do our part at CUInsight. And you mentioned other trade associations. So how is DCUC working with other trade partners and allies to protect the credit union tax exemption from political or industry-driven efforts to erode it?
Well, the tax exemption is an ongoing fight. We just won a huge fight in 2025 with the One Big Beautiful Bill, but there's another reconciliation package on the horizon, and it's a $25 billion reconciliation to increase defense spending. And so here we go again, and there may be another one after that before the midterms happen, and especially if we think the House is going to flip. So it's going to take everybody rowing together, and DCUC is building inclusive coalitions, within the credit union space, with different leagues like the Dakota's Credit Union Leagues or the Montana Credit Union League. We're working with what we call our premier circle partners and dedicated allies to the credit union movement, because what happens to the credit union industry also affects their business models too. So we're all in this together. And one of the things we've done is we've called for joint trade association meetings, not just a few people, but everybody, and that's all the national, trade associations and different folks. And yeah, well, we may have some internal differences, but I think bottom line, we all agree that we support the credit union movement. We want to see it preserved, and we want to do what's best. So I've always found that inclusivity and collaboration and consensus building is probably the best way to go. And so we've had these joint trades meetings from time to time, and they've been very helpful. And I just think when you give other people a voice, then they have a stake in the outcome as well.
And those meetings have been productive. I've appreciated the invitation to be a fly on the wall, if you will, at those. And you talked about some of the coalitions and groups of credit unions that you're working with. What structures has DCUC created to identify challenges faced by credit unions of different sizes and charter types?
Well, we always emphasize that our advocacy isn't limited to a specific segment. First thing is we got outside of DCUC's traditional footprint. It's not just military credit unions. It's all credit unions. That I think we're going to change our motto to serving all who serve. Right. Whether you're a teacher, you're a first responder, you're a public servant. You're whatever your segment is. Or your communities, and that just kind of broadens the model. But also, whether you're a small credit union, mid-sized credit, or a large credit union, we are starting to set up different structures within DCUC just to listen to folks. Right now, it's all one, but we try to give everybody a voice because we believe that that's better. And when we can understand their needs, of each of these different segments, then we can put together better talking points, better letters. And again, inclusivity that will strengthen our national movement and have more of a global or a universal impact.
Well, Tony, I appreciate this information. It's always a pleasure to connect with you, and I appreciate you taking the time to join me.
Well, thanks, Greg. It was a pleasure being here. And again, kudos to CUInsight, and we're happy to be a collaborator. You guys do great work, and we really appreciate what you do on behalf of the movement.
And thank you for being our first CUInsight collaborator. And also thank you to all who tuned in for this 3 questions video interview. See you next time.